Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. It is another map of the crack, Acidus crack that is, with another 1v1, and today we have Yun and Flying Duck. Now as we scroll on up, if you haven't seen the map before, it is a well-liked map in the 1v1 scene. Map being separated by this river along the center, with pathable bits here across the water and then these crossings. Now, there are several positions where you can choose to start, as the start box is actually kind of like, just ignore that extra line. The start box is kind of like this. So you can choose to start in any of these kind of spots here. It depends on how you want to play. Flying Duck here has chosen the furthest back position here. This gives him the opportunity to block this part off here, which makes it fairly safe from raiding because his units are going to barrel out this way, meaning any raiding units are going to come. They're going to get intercepted by the factory fairly easily as long as this side gets like blocked off. However, it does mean that when it comes to the rest of the triple mexes in his starting position, he has quite a long way to go in order to get these triple mexes. Whereas, on the opposite side of the map here, Yun has chosen to start in a more central position. Now, this does put him a lot closer to the geo that is just here. And that also means that he is a lot more exposed to raids. So that is an important aspect to bear in mind, because also securing this path down here, like we said before, of building like an LLT here to block that, is a lot further for Yun's units to travel before he gets to that. Now, straight off the bat here, Yun has built no defensive units and is getting harassed by this rascal. He does end up getting the metal extractor. There's not much more he's going to get from that, as it will get killed, but it's a little bit of a delay, at least just that small delay. All adds up though after a while, but Yun's position here does give him a closer position to block this pathway here, so we'll see how it plays out. Flying Duck has to be like quite aggressive here with Yun's position and make the most of attacking from so many different angles that Yun is not able to keep up with that. Being that his base is kind of exposed, that's exactly what he needs to do, but we'll see. In theory, Yun should be able to scale up his economy quicker if he is not harassed. So, yeah, it may end up being more of a macro-heavy map. And you can see that the metal extractor points here are mostly 2. I don't understand why they're classed as 1.9. Oh, because there are ones that are actually 2 and then others that are 1.9. Why just not make them all 2? Sure, that's just adding unnecessary, like, you know, confusion. God, I can't even speak today. Both players just heavily producing scouts here in an attempt to try and find a hole. We forgot to mention that we can obviously see that Yun is playing as Armada here, whereas Flying Duck is playing Cortex. And these scouts, although look like they may be in a position to do some damage here, there's so many of Yun's units either side of him that they are not going to be able to get any value. Meanwhile, along the bottom here, there is quite a few of these scouts moving in towards Flying Duck's base here. A single incisor has come out ahead of the 2 constructor units. Manages to intercept one of the scouts, but there's still quite a few more. No incisors being moved to block that off just yet. And these guys may manage to get round if they don't spot the LLT. They do spot the LLT. Now, they could have tried to sneak around here, but no. Yun decides he's going to play it a bit safe. Now this force that's coming on the top side here should, in theory, get stopped by the LLT. The Blitz is going to go in to try and absorb some of the shots as the scouts manage to rush by the LLT. The LLT's explosion does take some out, but the single Blitz now and the scouts are going to be able to do a lot of damage. FlyingDuck, already struggling with E, is now going to have to move his commander away from the factory. Blitz is still alive though. Will it be able to do enough damage to take out the mechs or the solar? Does take out the mechs and the solar before going down. That's some good play there by Yun, and that's going to put FlyingDuck back a little bit. Already losing when it comes to energy, really struggling to like keep up with energy production. As you can see, he's still stalled massively. Able to pick up a couple of lone metal extractors, maybe able to pick up a constructor here. Yun not microing them and didn't want to dive, but he may end up losing. Oh, he gets one Blitz out. Mostly lost most of them though. Scouts still along the bottom side here, kind of denying easy expansion, or should we say free expansion. But there's enough incisors here that they will be able to defend these construction vehicles as they build up, making these scouts a bit useless where they are. As we zoom on over to the other side of the map, we've got 8 incisors versus 8 blitzes and a scout. Ooh, one blitz goes down. Still all the same incisors, but being this close to the base, that blitz count is going to tick up rapidly. Not all blitzes were able to be brought to bear on this incisor force, meaning that they've actually traded fairly badly there. Bear in mind there was 8, there's still 5 left to 5 blitzes, and there was more reinforcements. Meanwhile, along the bottom, these 3 incisors have managed to pick up an expansion con of Yun's, and that's quite a big loss for Yun here. Meanwhile, along the bottom, the LLT does go up just as the incisors are also there to defend, and those scouts won't be able to pick up anything. Very good attacks there by FlyingDuck, slowly getting his energy under control, actually building a bit more in the way of LLTs here. He could just build a wall. We've seen quite a lot of people build walls here now to kind of cope with that. As we switch back over here, there is quite a lot of reclaim to be left here now. We see basically 700 combined with the metal extractor there. It's quite a lot. The bottom here, land bridge, say 2-2, but that blitz is pretty low health and the incisors will win that fight. These, however, there's only a single LLT here. If managed correctly, they may be able to get some value. Looking back up at the top here, sorry, jumping around a bit at the moment, I apologize, but able to slow down this expansion. There was no constructor killed, as we can see here from the wreckage, but did have to pull it back. Oh, but Yun loses another constructor on this top side to this pack of incisors. Still roaming around. The incisors at the bottom managing to deal with the blitzes that were down there as well. And the trades are going very favorably for Duck at the moment. The problem is all the reclaim is being left on Yun's side here. So Yun needs to try and grab this metal when he can. FlyingDuck, as you can see here, metal a second is advantaged by 24% at the moment. Metal produced is basically neck and neck, but that will change pretty quickly if he's not careful. Reinforcements for FlyingDuck now are going to push along this backside that we were talking about earlier on. Again, a single wall would have sufficed here at locking this down, but instead, neither player wanting to invest that resources as this incisor force makes short work of the LLT. So you want LLTs just to kind of deny a single kind of like incisor just going around and causing problems, or scouts, but at the same time they're pretty useless versus you know, incisors, groups of incisors. Now at the corner of our screen we did see that Yun had actually invested in a bot lab with the plan of getting res bots up, so we're going to see Yun starting to have a bit of a mixture of an army as he's resurrecting all the incisors and just generally lost units from both sides. Oh, but as these incisors stop moving, they may get surrounded. And actually, Flying Duck comes out on top there, managing to retreat with some units. Resbots getting to work here, resurrecting everything. And army value is still advantage Flying Duck, even with this resurrection. Flying Duck able to just find holes here and there. And there is quite a lot of stuff, though, still to be rezzed. Yun building a bit of a front line here on this northern bridge. So is Flying Duck here with 2 twin guards actually planned as well, which will deny any push from Yun. Meanwhile, though, we see Shuris coming out from Flying Duck here. No bombing run, just Shuris. And still just mass incisors coming out. They are going to end up hitting this ball here, I think. Keeping them just behind. Oh, a couple of pounders, actually. Pounders, if he can time this engagement well, pounders with the shurikens could do wonders. Shuris, though, actually being sent up top to deal with that ball at the top. There's not really any units here from Flying Duck. He's got these 6, but he's versing 10. LLTs come in. Shuris get shot down pretty quickly, but managing to EMP 4 of them. Just the force multiplier he needed. Shuriken's actually still staying alive for a considerable amount of time. They don't do too well versus incisors, but seem to be doing okay versus blitzes. You can see they are still getting shot down as he's not really microing these anymore. In come the fighters, though. Oh, or not. He's turning it around. Not only that, but we see whistlers starting to come out from Yun here in an attempt to kind of make up the air difference here. No push, though, really, coming from Yun. He's kind of just playing it safe. That was not the word. Solidifying his hold on this north side here. He doesn't really have what it takes to push through. His comm is just building more LLTs in the center. And we just see a sizable build-up of tanks here, raider units on this bottom side. Now, with a couple of pounders here, they should be able to make a sizable difference. But this is also a big force here from Flying Duck. And as the pounders march slightly forward, hoping to just get in range here. Oh, they get turned around. A lot of them getting caught here. And those 2 pounders doing a great job of basically just staggering the units, stopping them being able to move forward. Flying Duck desperately trying to grab these 2 constructors, but doesn't look like it's gonna happen as they gonna run into a huge group of units. Pounder is not caught up yet, but the cons do manage to get away. There's a huge amount of shurikens now at the top side as all the fighters are over here thinking this is where they're gonna be. Quickly gonna look over here as the shurikens get shot down by just 2 fighters. Such a waste. And all the offensiveness is coming from Flying Duck here. Yun is just staying back, holding back, not actually putting on any aggression whatsoever. What's going on in the bases? So we have Vehicle Lab, Air Lab, Bot Lab for Yun. Just vehicle lab, air lab from Flying Duck. Flying Duck pushing out brutes now, needing a bit more oomph. This very stealthily hidden constructor here. How has this not been spotted? It has. There we go. He spotted it now. He was maybe hoping that constructor would survive just hidden in the corner there, but no, not quite so much. Flying Duck doing a good job at fortifying his side of the river down at the bottom here. Same can't be said for Yun at the top, who has yet to kind of get things going. He is building the Geo, which surprisingly Flying Duck has chosen to ignore. Metal a second is actually, well, yeah, is 0% difference between the two players at the moment, which means they have identical metal income. Neither player going for any E-converters. Am I seeing this right? Yep, still scaling up energy production, but not really needing it. Oh, actually, no, he does need it a little bit. It's kind of fluctuating. And we see Tech 2 being planned here from Yun. He is happy with his kind of location where he's set up. And Stouts and Janices were out. Wanting to put Flying Duck a bit on the back foot maybe before he goes into that transition. But this now becomes a dangerous time. Flying Duck has not gone Tech 2. He's got Resbots out now from his own bot lab. And this is where Flying Duck is going to get more and more units. Although his more and more units may just get EMP'd if he's not careful. By moving this force down, he has allowed himself to somewhat get flanked, though, as a bunch of tanks come in from the rear. Both players are heading down to this side, expecting shurikens to make their appearance. This army of Yun's now in a dangerous position, about to get collapsed on. Question is how much chasing does Flying Duck want to do? This EMP mechs will pretty much put a stop to that chase. Oh, he's going back in, is he? Meanwhile, on this top side, Yun attempted a bit of a push here, but moving into twin guards and a line of tanks is not going to work out for him whatsoever. Just a reference point, Yun's comm is here in the center of the map in a field of LLTs, whereas Flying Ducks is still safely in base. Just to point that out so everyone knows where the commanders are. Flying Duck able to find a hole here. Yun was building a wall to try and block it off. Hasn't ended up working out. Jags, though, now spotted, meaning Flying Duck got that notification saying Tech 2 units detected. And the window that Flying Duck had for where there was no Tech 1 unit production for a short while has now gone. Now, the question is, will he go Tech 2 himself? No. Looking back at his base, he hasn't. Wow, that's just a lot of build power there. This is a bit of a mess of a fight here. Canis is getting some good volleys off. Because of the response, both players have Janices now. The Rex as well, causing some problems for Flying Duck as his units are getting stuck. Bulls also starting to make their way to the front. As soon as these bulls arrive, the tide is going to start turning. Bulls taking its time to get up there, though, and that has allowed Flying Duck, if he wanted to... Oh, he's not. Okay. I was expecting Flying Duck maybe wanted to just go up here with his army, but instead he's not. Oh, splitting up his army, sending 5 tanks that way. Yep. Reinforcements rushing to arrive down here, picking up the resbots. and surprisingly somehow maintaining this reclaim field. How much is that? 5k of metal here. 5.6k of metal is a lot of metal. Meanwhile, on the top, the attack managed to actually breach the front lines of Yun along the top, and these 4 incisors inflicting heavy energy damage as they go uncontested into the base. Jag now rocks up finally to put an end to them, but still taking out a huge chunk of windmills. The Geo is also gone. These 4 remaining brutes just slowly whittling down metal extractors, although they kind of need to deal with the LRT. That side not being managed, but not enough units as FlyingDuck just rushes in with the remaining of his Tech 1 units, just pushing into the base from multiple angles. Bulls are coming out, but not coming out quick enough as there is only 4 of them. And Yun just cannot keep up. And there we go. GG.
Battle ended.
So it shows that just because your opponent goes Tech 2 doesn't mean you have to. FlyingDuck was able to keep on top of Yun's forces, keep the numbers whittled down. And because of that, he was able to just take over and outnumber and outmaneuver him. And just look at the amount of res bots here at the moment, just resurrecting stuff. 23 res bots. I mean, this army here didn't really get resurrected in time to make that much of a difference, but just so much production. Well done, FlyingDuck. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.